In the first half of the 19th century, Colombia was growing. Government and commerce, driven by industrialization and the textile industry, were rapidly expanding. Hi everyone, I'm Dondi Mercer-Plank. Amid this New South economy, plans were drawn up for an audacious mill and village along the banks of the Congaree River, just outside city limits. Bounded by Whaley Street, Bluff Road, Granby Lane, and the historic granite quarry, now known as Vulcan Materials, the Olympia Mill Village remains as one of the only surviving textile mill villages in Richland County. In the late 1800s, Richland County was largely agrarian, but the rapid creation of 6 textile mills, all within miles of one another, caused the population to swell. Mill owners built villages to entice rural farmers to move off the farm and into a modern village with steady work and modern amenities, like community buildings, churches, and schools. This self-contained town atmosphere was unlike anything those former farmers had experienced. They now lived in close proximity to neighbors, as well as the mills themselves, creating an enduring connection between work, religion, sports teams, school activities, and other events that created what residents would come to affectionately call Olympia Linthead culture. Their new lives as mill workers dominated non-working hours as well. Fiercely loyal to one another and proud to maintain a sense of independence from Columbia, the Granby and Olympia Mill Village Lintheads did not seek to incorporate their lives with those from the nearby city. The mill village included all aspects of village life, from the cradle to the grave. The historic Olympia Cemetery, established in 1904, provides eternal resting places for many who claim their Linthead heritage. Listed on the National Historic Registry in 2017, this beloved place is maintained through donations to the Olympia Cemetery Association. The unique architecture of the Mill Village of Olympia is distinct from others throughout the South. The houses were painted a variety of colors: yellow, gray, green, white, and well kept by maintenance crews. The rent was 50 cents per room in those early years, with the size of the house determined by the size of the working family. This building at 1170 Olympia Avenue is a fine example of the salt box mill house, a form that is common in this area. It is distinct, however, in the fact that it was set aside as early as 1901 for use as the village school, something that was rare in Richland County mill villages. Now housing the Olympia Mill Village Museum, the building is architecturally and culturally significant, serving as the ideal setting to explain the lives of those who lived in the area, from school age to retirement. Olympia Mill School was established in 1901 to provide some education for workers' children. While many families could not afford the loss of their children's contributions to the family income, child labor laws began to be enacted, and school enrollment grew steadily. By 1920, Olympia Mill Village was a close-knit community. Life revolved around 3 things: going to church and visiting with families on Sundays, going to work on Mondays, and getting to the community center at any opportunity. By the 1930s, mill workers started discussing creating a textile union in order to bargain for better pay, a change to those difficult 66-hour work weeks, and for safer working conditions. In 1938, the Olympia Mill was organized into the United Textile Workers Union, and conditions did improve, but at a cost. Mill owners retaliated, selling off the village to real estate investors who raised the rents. That added to the workers' burdens. But some families were able to purchase their homes, with some homes remaining in the same family even to this day. Another blow came when mill owners closed down the beloved community center. This brought to an end much of the village's opportunities for social connections. However, people quickly focused their attention on Olympia High School, which became and remains a cultural touchstone to the community. In the 1940s, about 30 houses were constructed along Texas, Virginia, and Nevada streets, creating a kind of suburb to the Mill Village. The houses were much smaller, with about 800 square feet, with 4 rooms and 1 bath, but allowed more families to own their own homes. With the outbreak of World War II in 1941, many young men left school and mill work to join the armed forces. It would change the village forever, as these veterans returned home with new ideas and skills not dependent on textile work. They also had a chance at college with the advent of the GI Bill, and many took advantage of that government-issued opportunity. The new perspectives of the 1950s created better jobs, professions, and opportunities for those with Mill Village roots to expand their visions for their lives. While a few families remained in the village, many of the younger generation ventured into the suburbs, often leaving the older generations to continue there. Another trend started in the late 1950s. Mobile homes started appearing in lots that were cleared of original mill housing, a trend that continued to eat away at the historic look of the community. But then county zoning codes prevented both new and used trailers from being brought into the neighborhood. During the 1960s and 70s, many homes purchased by workers in the early years remained in families, even as the older residents lived out their lives and then passed away. Those homes were often inhabited by several generations of mill workers' descendants. The 1970s also saw the textile industry's development in offshore countries in Asia. Coupled with the movement of families out into the suburbs, the mill village became impoverished, and only the remnants of its former glory were evident. Attendance at the village churches remained strong because people drove across town to attend their home churches and visit with family members each week. But by the 1980s and 1990s, a steady decline in appearance was readily evident. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, investors realized opportunities for rentals as Columbia and the University of South Carolina grew. Rents were low, and the transitory nature of short-term renters eroded the strong connections that many people felt. But the Olympia Mill Village was still home to so many people, and their connections were strong, even for those who now lived elsewhere. Both the Granby and the Olympia Mills were converted into spacious loft apartments in 2001, which are marketed to young professionals and students. Conversion of homes into apartments and 2 recently built apartment complexes continue to supply the demand for yearly leases by a younger population. By 2010, corporate developers started buying up contiguous properties, with plans for even larger apartment complexes. Today's Olympia Mill Village retains a great deal of its original appearance. Although most of the houses have been modified through the years, it is easy to envision what once was. More than 80% of the original homes are now rental properties, inhabited mostly by students at the University of South Carolina, just 3 miles away. This youthful contingent of residents creates a variety of issues for the 20% of permanent homeowners, most of whom are deeply rooted in the original Mill Village community. High-density development of apartments, conversion of homes into small apartments, the cost of rentals, and practice of individual leases per bedroom create problems with code enforcement and absentee ownership. Economic development and historic preservation are both important. The Olympia Mill Village was recently designated by the South Carolina Department of Archives and History as a historic mill village. The neighborhood association, We Are Olympia, works to preserve and maintain a residential presence in the face of significant commercial and business development. In 2014, the Olympia Mill Village Museum and Community Space was established in the original mill schoolhouse. This created a repository for artifacts, documents, and memorabilia of a vibrant past. Its mission is to preserve and protect a very important story, The museum's vision has expanded from its original concept, and it has become a regular gathering place for community groups to plan activities, do crafts, or just socialize. Current community development is vital. The Olympia Mill Village is changing, and the community understands this progression. Property in the area is most valuable today because of the influx of student housing and the encroachment of commercial development. This presents unique problems for its longtime residents who are trying to preserve remnants of their past. There is enormous opportunity for growth and development. The Olympia Granby Historical Foundation works closely with the We Are Olympia Neighborhood Association to foster education and understanding of this growth and change, while seeking to maintain some portion of its historic residential character as well. The two can coexist. The community will continue to work with Richland County officials to enhance opportunities for its residents. The goals are the continued preservation of history, a greater presence of arts in the community, continued growth of USC student-resident relations, and the encouragement of increased permanent residential presence. The Olympia Mill Village Museum and Community Space celebrates the Mill Village's history as an integral part of the textile boom that transformed the county's economy. This museum attracts tourists from throughout South Carolina and beyond. Local students, researchers, and heritage travelers are drawn to investigate this venue. Along with the museum, the rehabilitation of the former community center here at 701 Whaley into this event venue and innovations by Richland School District 1 in the historic Olympia School and the number of rental properties in this area suggest a bright and vibrant future ahead. It will never be the bustling mill village of the early 1900s, but the vitality engendered by new, thoughtful development bodes well for this community. Both the Mill Village community and the museum will continue to be a touchstone for original residents and their descendants. Despite the challenges faced throughout the decades, this area continues to be Olympia strong.